corrupt. Hopefully that will be saving in the correct place. And come over here. And all the people starting to watch this video are going to hear my voice muttering to myself as I get caught up. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to an exciting episode. I hope it's exciting. But we are back, finally, with Pendragon, or King Arthur Pendragon role-playing, Blood and Glory, A Father's Pride, Episode 6. And if you look on the screen, you'll notice some things are a little bit different. Specifically, the people that are in the cast. We've had some casting changes. Before I get too crazy and forget where I am in my notes, let's welcome the newest member of our cast, Rodance.
Yep, hello. Nice to be here.
Awesome. It has been a very long time. Super long. It's probably close to 2 months since our last. No, we'll say a month and a half. I don't know. It's been too long.
2 months, yeah.
It's been too damn long, and I've been wanting to play Pendragon so freaking much. Holy shit. Rodance, thank you for the follow, by the way. Let's get into... you know what? I'm not going to go into all the details about casting changes. Krista is an indeterminate return. We don't have all the details yet. Some personal stuff in her life. We have Rodance replacing or just stepping in and starting her character's career. And of course, I still have Talus and Rev.
Hola.
Rev will probably insert some
Hello,
joke.
that's us.
Yep, there you go. See? Anyway, let's do our intros. And because of the new order based on glory as calculated from our last episode, Winter Phase, Rev, you start us off with introduction for you, remind the viewers about your character, and, whatever you've been up to in the last few weeks. I know you were on stream with me last week or so ago, but let's remind the people who we are and what we do.
I'm playing, I'm Rev. I'm playing Everhart, a fiery, red-headed racist, who hates the Saxons with a passion for various reasons done to his family, who had a bit of a sticky situation with his family
Yeah.
in the previous episode, and is not really looking forward to the outcome of that. And I am Rev Everett. Personally enjoy talking about everything taboo, such as firearms and politics and religion. So that is me in a nutshell. And I had an idea for it's a little project I'm working on. It's for a perineum sunning day spa, but we can discuss that later.
I heard some words that didn't even register in a conscious level. Like, what? A print? Well, yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. I don't even know what the hell he just said. Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
look it up.
I'll figure that out off stream, completely off stream. So yeah, it has been a few weeks. On our last episode, we had some issues come up that Sir Everhart had to deal with, some familial concerns. But tonight, we will get some traction on that. We'll get some follow-up and see where things go from there. That takes me to my own flesh and blood, which is ironic because the name of the show is Blood and Glory. It's not ironic, but I find it amusing. Talus, what's new in your world? Tell people a little bit about you, your world, and your character.
So I'm Talus. As he mentioned, I am his son. As for things going on in my world, not much. It's been storming the past few weeks, or week, and it's going to continue storming until the end of the month, I think. So if I suddenly drop out, blame the weather. On another note, my character's name is Farvel. He is sort of a neutral guy that just, enjoys being there, I guess, so to speak, and just perfecting what he does, so his skills or anything else. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it.
Alright. Oops, that's not the button I wanted. I need my notes. Excuse me. And Rodance, you had a moment to say hello. You're the new member of the group. why don't you take a moment to tell people about yourself, anything new and exciting in your world, also your character, or well, not Sir yet, but Dallin.
Well, hello. My game tag is Rodance, and I'm the resident East Coast person joining the group. So, hours make it run a little interesting. But this is definitely going to be fun for me. This is the first time I've played a Pendragon campaign. I mean, I have plenty of experience in the more traditional D&D of several flavors, Starfinder, Fate-based other systems. So this is very exciting. I
Starfinder.
am running a character who goes by the name of Dallin the Prudent. My shiny new character is apparently from the town of Stapleford and has distinctive features and is well known for his dark brooding eyes and soft-spoken clear voice.
Yes.
And yes, the horse is indeed named Dusty. And as a side note, Rev, I do know what that is. And no, we don't need eye bleach today.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
All right, Rev, you and I will not be talking about whatever this project is. She mentioned eye bleach. That's my obligatory. I'm out.
It's basically naked sunbathing. Could be worse.
I mean, if you see me naked, that's eye bleach in and of itself because of the searing sunlight coming off of my skin. But there was some alliteration in there without even trying. I didn't even plan that.
High five, fellow pale skin. I burned to crispy crisp walking outside for lunch.
Well, I'm not, to be totally honest, I'm not as pale as all that. But right now, because it's the off season, and today was like literally the first day of any kind of sunlight in like at least several weeks. I'm definitely on my paler side. On that note, Talus, do me a favor. If you do happen to drop out because of power and the weather and whatnot, I need you to shoot me a text.
Speaking of which, I need to charge my phone just in case.
That would be an amazing, intelligent idea for you.
For the record, Rodance, I do occasionally like to throw something to my intro to mess with Omar.
Yes. No, occasionally? You mean every single week? That may or may not be true.
It's like a challenge.
Yeah, he likes to.
Interesting.
He definitely likes to see how far he can get before I start getting actively engaged with anger problems. On that note, I am Omar Krieg. I am your host and the commander, lord, whatever the hell you want to call it, of the Krieg Dominion. This is Blood and Glory, a Pendragon campaign. This is A Father's Pride, Episode 6. A little bit of intro on me. Obviously, a lot of people would already know who I am, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be here watching, most likely. I really had a segue there, and I totally spaced because I started second-guessing myself. That's what I do. It's one of my superpowers. I have many, and they're mostly awkward. I do have a couple of projects in the works I wanted to touch on briefly. I intend to have an announcement tomorrow, in fact. I will be putting it out on Discord and the Twitters, and possibly even on my Facebook, which I don't have an Omar Krieg Facebook, but I have a personal Facebook. So I'll be looking out there. I'm going to be recruiting for some stuff. I may even throw together a quick little video. I don't know. We'll see. But Traveler 2300 is steadily moving closer and closer to launch. We also have Solasta, which is, I believe, on Monday. We're gonna give it our first shot at the Solasta multiplayer with this crew right here. These three crazies and my crazy. What else do I got going on? I've got a couple other things. The previously mentioned D&D / Dragonlance. I think I'm going to move that to the side a little bit. And I've got a couple other things I'm working on to bring some more content to this channel. That high quality content that you didn't have to pay anything for. What else? Work has finally slowed down a bit. Now that the holiday season is over, my youngest son is not in my living space as much, which is sad, but also helpful for doing things like this. So a little bit of give and take there. I kind of miss the dude. I miss him. But I'll see him again soon. I know I will. What else? I think that's the biggest thing I have. Yeah, I think that is everything. I really feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know. So, let me see. I've got some audio going. If anybody is paying attention to the stream and the audio sounds weird or something is overpowering something else, please let me know. Please speak up because I'm trying to add a little bit of ambiance to our experience here. Actually, I don't want that song. So give me half a second. I'm gonna change some of this
If
background.
there's music, I don't.
If are you watching the stream with your sound on the stream?
I might have the stream muted.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll leave that there for now. So with that, let's get started. We're going to do a brief recap. Normally I do something a little bit longer than this, but it's been a while and I didn't feel like digging through all my old notes. And with the fact that it's a brand new year, I figured we could kind of just start from, square one. It is a brand new year. The year 486 of our Lord and Savior. Winter has come and gone, and now the season has turned from cold and snow into chilled rains and the flooding of rivers. The days have begun to warm, and from across the land the people begin to stir. Work starting on fields, messages pass back and forth more fervently, and promises of better weather abound. In one manor hall, a quill is placed back into its holder, and a dark-haired man blows gently over the ink scrawled across paper. A careful viewer may catch offerings of marriage, or perhaps even a passing question of curiosity, before the letter is rolled into a simple leather casing and passed off to a waiting servant bearing the boar's head crest on his collar. The man opens another missive, this one marked in the blue and yellow lines of the Earl of Salisbury himself, an invitation as per custom for the Easter feast. So Easter feast is just about upon us. So to give you a kind of a time frame, I believe our last episode ended with, I think we kind of went with something like early mid-February of the new year, to use the Gregorian calendar. I think that's what it's called. Somebody tell me I'm stupid if I use the wrong term for our current calendar. But yeah, so like winter is just about done. Spring is around the turn. On that note, Sir Everhard, you sent out some messages trying to feel out who might be interested in the hand of your sister. There were some offerings made. There were some things that you were trying to keep hush-hush. In the previous handful of weeks since you sent those messages out, so far you've gotten one back. And that message, while I don't actually have a full-on note for you to read or anything, but to summarize what the contents of said message are, Sir Gareth of Teesbury has asked for the chance to discuss this matter further with you during the Easter feast coming up in a couple weeks. Is Rev muted and did he forget?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear
Yeah.
you now.
I said all right.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, nothing came through, but we got it taken care of now. For the viewers who may not remember, and for the rest of the table that may not remember, Sir Gareth of Teesbury is my own character that I've introduced as an NPC. He is so far the only one that has stepped forward to say that he is interested. What was your sister? Myrthen? Was that her name? I'm going off the top of my head.
I'm honestly sure at this point.
Well, that's a good thing I have my NPC tracker thing open. Sir Everhard's sister, yeah, Myrthen, using the traditional something Gaelic-ish spelling. Also, Sir Farvel. Osgood, your priest and sometimes steward, approaches with a message from the master of Winterbourne Stoke. He has been teaching you in the last handful of weeks your letters. You have begun to understand the concepts of how letters, when strung together, form words, and when words strung together form sentences. And he would like for you to attempt to make this reading. Now, I'm not going to make you roll or anything, because it's basic. We're going to assume because you still technically don't have any points assigned to literacy, you cannot read it yet. You're still struggling with words like cat and dog. And the fact that the C and the K, like, okay, this doesn't work for the Latin alphabet, but for the sake of, a comparison here, the fact that the C has 2 sounds and K only has 1, and they share one of those sounds. Like, some of these things are just mind-blowing to you.
Alright.
But the gist of your letter is that Sir Alden, a 21-year-old knight in the service of the Master of Winterborn Stoke, is requesting the hand of your sister Melisande. And he's hoping that by the time of the Easter feast, you guys will have either you will have an answer for him, or at the very least that you guys will have a moment during the feast that you can discuss these things.
Okay.
Is there a message you would like to send back? Also, same question for Sir Everhard.
Just as a simple response to the affirmative.
Okay. All right.
Something along the lines of we could talk about it during the Easter feast.
Okay. All right. So generally positive responses prepared and sent off. If this was Game of Thrones, we would have a cutscene of ravens taking flight, but this isn't Game of Thrones. We use crows, I guess. I don't know. I mentioned stewards. And at this point in time, only one person currently has anything close to an actual steward. Everybody else has been using their mother. And traditionally speaking, mom runs handles the affairs of the land until either you get married and then your spouse will take over, or she is remarried and sent off to, traditionally or typically sent off to whatever manor that the husband manages. What I would like to do is afford you guys the opportunity, before we get too far into this. Do you want to keep your mother as stewards? Would you like to attempt to find stewards? Or perhaps even later this year, during winter phase, how much serious consideration will be put forth for the 3 of you, or Dallin's character included, insofar as getting married? Because you're not getting any younger, and the family line must continue.
Yeah, I was going to say that my character is sort of abruptly aware of his own need for marriage with everything else going on.
Yes. Yes. There are expectations of manor lords.
While I ponder it, Farfel is currently thinking another year before marriage opportunities.
Okay. What do you want to do regarding stewardship of your lands? Do you want Mom to continue and keep trying? Like, you've got Osgood, who's kind of apprenticing to Mom when he's not busy being a priest.
Yep.
And, of course, his priestly duties take him not necessarily far and wide, but he doesn't stick around Winterborn Gunnet. Every couple of weeks he's off again for another week, because he's got a pretty wide-ranging flock, as it were. So you're okay with that arrangement for you and your family, correct?
Currently, yes.
Okay. And Sir Everhard, what would you like to do? Would you like to acquire a steward of your own? Is Mom going to continue? Sir Everhard and Mom had a very heated discussion a month or 2 ago about who's really in charge of the land.
I feel like removing her at this point, unless it was with a bride, would further inflame tensions.
That's a fairly safe bet. That's I think if I was in that position, I too would be like, maybe I should hold off and not piss Mom off some more. Dallin, well, not yet. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One note, should her ire have returned in conversation, because women never like to remind you of things. But should her ire return at some point, I'm going to remind her that she demanded the death of someone off of a false accusation.
This is also true. Speaking of, because I forgot to put in my notes what happened with Seth, I believe was his name. Let me double check my tracker again. Everhart. Yep, Seth. Sir Seth. For the moment, or at least for the foreseeable future, Sir Seth has indeed been sent off to Till's Head, which was Sir Amig, which, if you guys recall, Sir Amig was your battle commander at the Battle of Mirkwood Creek. I believe your plan, as my memory recalls, you wanted to send him off somewhere, and we decided Till's Head would probably be a good place to send him for the time being. Does that sound about right?
Something like that. I basically was saying, hey, Mother doesn't like the sight of this guy around, reminds her of Dad. Can you take him in as a sworn knight?
Yes. And so that particular angle, we'll gamify it a little bit and say that one got resolved a lot faster than trying to find a husband for Myrthin. Sir Amig, with basically no questions asked, agreed to take Sir Seth under his wing, so to speak. But you did catch, we'll say you caught wind or caught hint of that it's most likely that Sir Seth will probably not stay at Castle Till's Head, that he may be sent down the line, as it were, to one of the nearby villages under whoever happens to be, like, basically the nearest manor lord. Because, as you recall, Amig has 6 knights of his own. And maybe Seth, a better place for Seth would be in one of the local manors nearby. You know, the ones that Amig has some sort of overwatch on, I guess. That is something that, if you desire, you can follow up with at the Easter feast as well. Anything else for the two of you? Because I want to...
As just a sworn knight, would my brother rate attendance to the feast?
Yes.
Or... Okay.
If now, okay, so GM to player, are you thinking maybe there might be some uncool tensions? Maybe there's a reason why Seth should not be allowed to go?
No, it's... I feel like, just as a guess, he knows I saved his life.
Okay. Alright. That gives me an idea or two to work with. Anything else for the two of you real quick before we move on to the next topic?
9.
Okay. Rev, good?
I'm good.
Alright. That takes us to Rodance. And young Dallin, currently a Squire. We didn't talk a lot last night when we made your character. We didn't talk a lot about family history and things of that nature, but as memory goes, Dallin's father, Arnold, was killed in or around the Battle of Mount Damon in 485. At this point, you know, something like a year and a half ago. His father died in the Night of the Long Knives. This goes back to 463, so this is like 20-something plus years ago. The other two players may recall this. The Night of Long Knives there was a king who had previously usurped a brother of Uther and taken over the kingdom, had brought in a whole mess of Saxons, basically caused the whole Saxon problem, one could argue. And there was some fighting between people who were loyal to Vortigern, the guy that usurped the throne and brought in the Saxons. There was people loyal to him, people that were loyal to the Pendragons, essentially. There was some fighting for a couple years, and then finally Vortigern was like, hey, let's just bring everybody together. We'll address our concerns, air our grievances, try to resolve things peacefully. This fighting is stupid, blah, blah, blah. There was a great big feast, and the Saxons killed all the Britons at the feast. And a lot of people's grandfathers were killed during this treachery. And then over the course of the next couple of years, Vortigern eventually gets routed out and killed. Uther becomes the king, and that's part of where like a lot of his fame comes from. Your brother, your bastard brother, I should point out, his name is Medwin. He is an illegitimate bastard, as we previously discussed. Your father Arnold had a fun time one night while he was a squire. Brought back a bastard at some point, raised him in the castle, or not castle, but in the manor of Stapleford, and now he's a sworn knight. You also have your brother-in-law, your older sister's husband, sworn to you as well. And that's pretty much your family, really, because your dad's mom and dad are gone. Your dad is dead. Your mother has just told you during the well, it wouldn't be Christmas for pagans. It would be like the Yuletide, I think is the correct term. Your mother, Elwyn, has informed you that she has been offered in marriage to a different manor that I honestly didn't come up with fast enough before we started tonight. So I'll hammer that out later. But in short, your mother will be remarrying later this year.
Well, darn, that means I'm going to need a new steward unless my sister is staying at home temporarily while her her husband is in my service.
You know, that is a great... I didn't even think about that option. Do me a favor. I'm trying to find my notes. I need to look at your skill. Not your skill.
Steward, you need a steward for the low price.
Okay.
I mean,
I love... You know what the funny part is? This is awfully prudent of you to have your character do this. Hey, sis, Mom's looking at leaving later this year. You're going to take over the running of the town because I'm going to be busy doing knightly things. And so is your husband.
yeah.
Okay,
and,
I don't know who
if I
put
happen to get
80...
married this year, I'll need your assistance on getting her, sorted out.
I don't know who put 85 friggin' die 20 on here. Jesus H. Christ. Rev, I blame you. These motherfuckers. God damn it. And there's no way to clear this out quickly. You have to literally click on the minuses. Alright.
Or you could click the clear button.
No, clear would clear the dice that would have accumulated. Alright. I need you to... God damn it. I had my notes right there and I already forgot it. Stupid short-term memory.
Sure.
Alright, for your steward, I need you to roll... How old's your sister? 86...
My
24.
sister is 3 years older than me, yes.
Yeah, 24. So it'll be 1d6 plus... Jesus Christ. 1d6 plus 8. So if you notice over here, you have the dice roller, and if you put mouse over the number 1, where it says, which is the number for how many dice there are, should be a little red dot that pops up. And then you could just click that. And it'll roll the 1d6. So your stewardship for your sister is a 9. Not great, not bad, just okay. Now if you press the clear button over here, I don't know if you've used this dice pad that I have. At this point, I literally cannot remember where I picked it up from. But if you press that clear button, it will remove the dice that popped up. And then the cool thing is, for argument's sake, whatever dice is on the pad, it'll roll that.
Neat.
So, let me put that 6 back on there. 20s and 6s are the ones most commonly used in this game, so that's why we have the 2 rollers for that.
Did you generate a name for my sister, by the way?
I did. Her name is Karison, and I'm going to type her name into Pendragon General in Discord real quick.
Yeah, there might be other spellings, but in my notes, it's Kirison, the way I think it's spelled.
It's all E's. All the vowels are E's, if that makes you feel any better. But yeah, so make a note that her stewardship is 9.
I bet she's a gas.
No, that would be kerosene. Yeah, that's right. I shut his ass down. All right. Okay. Now, next topic. Court this year will be held in Windsor, a county immediately east of Silchester, overlooking the Thames River. I may have mispronounced the Thames. That's the better way to say it. Thames, I think. Silchester, for those that don't know or may not remember, Silchester is immediately east of Salisbury. This year at the Easter Feast, Earl Roderick will be bringing all his knights with him. Prior to departing Sarum, on the other hand, where all the knights will gather up to leave for Windsor together, a new knight will be brought forward before the Earl and his marshal, Sir Elad, to be knighted as per the ceremony in the book. If my memory serves, I think in PC background info there may be a script in there for you to follow, Rodance. You may have to scroll back a ways. Page what? Oh, 48. But I think all your answers are basically just I do or something like that. Here we go. For clarity's sake, are you looking for it right now?
Yeah, I see it
Okay.
in the PC background info.
Okay, cool. I'm going to set the scene real quick. So basically, so Sarum is the capital of the Salisbury County, where Earl Roderick is in charge of. Castle Salisbury, or Castle Sarum, and the town of Sarum, all essentially the same entity for the most part. Earl Roderick has brought everybody together as a mini feast prior to, the evening before departing for Windsor. He has a herald come forth, and he says, from the head table, he says, Dallin, come forth and kneel before the throne. And while he does that, there's a servant nearby bringing a sword, armor, a shield, and some spurs, and he sets them off to the side a little bit. And then the herald continues, Be it known to all men that I, Earl Roderick, am minded to raise Dallin of Stapleford, by virtue of his honor, loyalty, valor, and skill at arms, to the high rank of knighthood. Dallin, do you swear and acknowledge Earl Roderick to be your true and lawful liege?
I do swear.
Do you swear fealty to Uther Pendragon, to defend and obey him until he depart the throne, or death shall take you?
I do swear.
Earl Roderick stands up, and he comes around the head table to stand before you. And then says, oh, excuse me. Oh, shit, I lost my place. Hold on. Sorry. God damn it. This is why we have rehearsals, by the way. Okay, yeah. So Earl comes up. He stands in front of you, and he smacks you across the face with the back of his hand. And he says, Let this be the last blow you receive without just recourse. And then the Earl helps you stand to your feet. And he says, or the herald says, repeat after me. I, Dallin of Stapleford,
I, Dallin of Stapleford,
do solemnly swear and pledge my sword
do solemnly swear and pledge my sword
to Earl Roderick, my liege,
to Earl Roderick, my liege,
to defend and obey him
to defend and obey him
until he depart his domain,
until he departs his domain,
or death shall take me,
or death shall take me,
and to uphold the honor of knighthood.
and to uphold the honor of knighthood.
And then Earl Roderick, with his hands holding yours between the two of you, he says, And I, for my part, do swear to defend and honor Sir Dallin, as befits a true knight. A servant comes up and passes you the sword. Or not you. He passes the sword to Earl Roderick. He taps you on the shoulders with it. And I dub thee Sir Dallin. Receive now your spurs, your right to suitable arms, and take this my sword to your side to serve and defend me well. Arise, Sir Knight, Sir Dallin of Stapleford. And immediately, two sounds immediately just like overwhelm the feast hall, or the great hall. It is a mix of sounds of cheers and applause, and then on top of it, everybody screaming. And if my two other knights I would appreciate if my two other knights would join in if they so choose. The leap. The leap. You don't earn your spurs without the leap. I'm glad Talus knew exactly where I was going with it, but it's okay. We'll get better at it as our old characters die and new ones become knights.
The never-ending circle of
This is how
characters.
this is how traditions are maintained. Come on now. All right, so the leap is basically what everybody's expecting you to do, and they are all looking at Sir Dallin, by the way, expectantly, and they are all waiting impatiently. One could argue.
Marvel shouts, "Good luck."
Sir Dallin is expected to, with his arms in armor, run out from the great table or the head table, down the great hall, out the door, and literally leap onto the back of their horse. And in game terms, that is let me double. I want to say it's dexterity. I'm pretty sure it is. If not, we'll just use dexterity. Yeah, fuck it. We'll just use dexterity. 1d20 against your dexterity score.
Okay.
So somebody's playing with my dice pads again.
Okay.
You got a 19. Woo! Well, so I don't even have to, unless your dexterity is 19 or 20, which it's not, because 18 is the racial limit. Yeah, so basically what happens is you run as hard as you can. Like, you're just, like, pumped, full of energy. This is a great moment in your life. Like, this will never, like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, literally, being knighted by your lord. And all of the pomp and circumstance and celebratory nature and all the responsibilities and the lineage of your own family. Like, all of this is being thrust on you, so you turn and bolt out the front door. And you see your horse waiting for you. You run up. You manage to plant your hands in such a way as to kind of vault up into the saddle. But as soon as you are completely airborne, your body starts listing to one side. And you do not seat correctly into the saddle. So while your butt does touch the leather of the saddle, you promptly fall off to the side and onto your back. And aside from the sounds of your destroyed pride, is accompanying laughter, cheers, jeers, clapping of hands, shouts of exclamation of all sorts. Everybody is incredibly amused because, much like in The Matrix, it's rare anybody makes the first jump. I guess maybe The Matrix wasn't the best example. Because I think Talus made his leap.
Yep.
Yeah, Talus, who then later, after that session, said, "I'm your perfect knight." Yeah, whatever, bitch. So, yeah. What you could do, Rodance, on your character sheet, or in your notes otherwise, indicate that you have been knighted by Earl Roderick. Jesus Christ. Earl Roderick. That's 1,000 glory that you will have. Your title is now Sir Dallin. Your class is now Vassal Knight. And if you want to make note of how you didn't quite make the leap, that's perfectly fine too. Yeah, we got about 20 minutes before we need to take a little break. Okay, so the next topic, after everybody gets back into the feast hall, we're not going to do a full-on feast here because you guys will be doing a full-on feast at the royal feast. But because Earl Roderick is the Earl, and it's expected that when he hosts people, he has to feed them. So this is technically, or by definition, this is a feast, but this is not the Great Feast or the Easter Feast. As everybody comes back in, the herald stands up again in front of the head table, and he announces to have all the squires brought out. Or the new squires, I should say. Bring out the new squires so that the knights may choose who they train for the next 6 years. Because I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 for some stupid reason. And so a handful of young 15-year-old boys and girls are brought out. There are 6 of them, and they are brought out lined up in front of the head table. And there's some trepidation, there's some nervousness, there's a little bit of worry. You know, these are young, like I said, 15-year-old boys and girls. The 6 of them, I'm going to list off of some of their, basically their physical descriptions, although I have other stats for them as well. There is one from Stapleford, and there is one from Pitton. You cannot choose a squire from your own home. Does that make sense?
Yes.
As far as the Stapleford one, because none of your current knights are old enough or even wed. Well, no, the one's wed, but definitely not old enough to have a squireable son at this point. We can assume that maybe somebody in that manner has maybe called in a debt to your father before he was killed a year and a half ago, or made other arrangements with the Earl or somebody in order to get their son, or daughter in this case, into a position where they can be squired. As far as the one from Pitton, again, just a basic, the boy, or also a girl from Pitton, similar scenario, no relation to you or your family, but somebody has made some sort of deal or agreement or otherwise allowed for this young lady to be squired off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you their names, where they're from, a brief physical description, and based on their appearance, it'll be obvious what their religious status is, and then you guys will choose which one you want to take. Or you can ask questions, interact with them a little bit, what have you, in order to determine which ones you have. Sir Garrett of Teesbury is also here in Sarum, so he will be selecting one of the remaining squires. Earl Roderick himself will also be selecting a squire. Does that make sense to everybody so far? Any questions?
So essentially we're getting a squire, and then the other 3 are going to get picked up by two NPCs and then a character you're controlling?
Essentially, yeah.
Working on? Okay.
Yeah, I think when I originally came up with this, I had enough squires for 4 knights, plus Gareth, and then whichever one was left over at that point, Earl Roderick was going to take one. I think at this point we have one left over who is basically just going to become kind of like a ward of Castle Vagon, because I think that's what I was going to do with him, was send him off to Sir Elad, the guy that trained you before you guys went off and hunted that bear.
Yeah.
All right, so starting at the top. Go ahead.
Continue,
Yep, go ahead.
485?
This is 486.
86, okay.
It's something like, for ease of memories, we'll say this is like a week before Easter of 486. Does anybody else have any other questions before I kind of... I'm going to try not to just, breeze through these, so if I'm going too fast, please let me know for your own notes.
Just a second. My keyboard is not... I'm trying to take notes, and it's not.
Yep. I got you. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to spam my chat real quick. Because I can. It's my chat. I can do whatever I want.
Okay, it's working now.
Oh, we just lost Talus.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why I heard that sound. I heard like a little pop sound. I was like, what the hell is that? And I looked. I'm like, first thing I see, Undertaker's disconnected. That's not good. Rodance, are you ready for note-taking?
Yes.
How you feeling, Rev? Are you ready? Are you still dealing with technicals?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, Talos, how are you ready for notes?
Good.
Okay. The first squire is identified as Glidno of Broughton, a young man, appears elegant, with a rugged physique, pale eyes, and greasy blonde hair. He is a Christian, and from the looks of him, rather pious as well.
Okay.
Are we good to go to the second one? I don't know how fast you guys can take notes, so I'll move on.
You said he was rugged. And
Rug-
what else?
Rugged physique, pale eyes, greasy blonde hair. The next one, and this is one that Rev cannot take. This is Olwen of Pitten, young female, appearing cheery with a willowy physique, bright eyes, curly red hair. She is also Christian, although she doesn't appear to be a very actively practicing one.
Alright, characteristics?
For which one? Olwen?
Cherry. Owen.
Cheery, willowy physique, so she's really thin. Not really thin, like, but definitely petite, we'll say that. Bright eyes and curly red hair. She's also Christian, but she does not appear to be a very actively practicing Christian.
Okay.
The third one is Morwen of Stapleford. This one Sir Dallin cannot take. A young female, brooding, with a rotund physique, dark eyes, and thick red hair. She is Christian as well, and appears to be fairly well versed in the Christian traditions.
Wait, sorry, for Morin, dark hair. What was the physique?
Rotund. She's a bit, she's on the heavier side.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily overweight or fat, she's just...
More meat to the bones.
Yes. Rotund usually does mean something to being overweight, but as she's a squire, she's just a large person who eats well and probably could use a little extra exercise. And then once that's done, then she's probably going to be this ungodly beast of a person that can just slash people in half. The next one is Moriel of Shrewton. Brooding, flabby physique, deep eyes, curly black hair. Also a Christian. For some reason, I didn't put in any indicator of a gender. So, Moriel. Yeah, we'll go with male. We'll make that one a male.
You said sunken eyes?
Deep eyes.
Okay.
And we have two more. Both female. So I think we got something like four... We might have 4 females and 2 males, but whatever. These were all randomly generated. The next one is Nerys of Winterbourne Stoke. She is appears elegant with a brawny physique, droopy eyes, and straight blonde hair. She is a Christian, but the only indication that she is Christian is the fact that she has a cross sewn onto like the lapel or collar of her tunic, and it doesn't look like she did a very good job of it, and it doesn't look very like well kept. Just the cross itself, like the rest of her appearance, is not unkempt or dirty or anything. It's just the cross itself was like thrown on there because somebody said it was a good idea to do it, if that makes any sense at all. The last one, Aethna of Broughton, another female, appearing alert with a brawny physique. Sorry, go ahead.
Name
No.
one more time?
Which one?
The last one.
Aethna. I'll spell that Eithne.
Sorry, you said E? Jesus.
Where am I losing you? Or are you good?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
So this is the second square from Broughton.
As it seems, yes. Because I either didn't care or didn't pay attention. Broughton might have something going on. Who knows? Yes, this is a young female appearing alert with a brawny physique, cool eyes, and curly blonde hair. And she appears to have, on her left arm, a bracelet that is commonly known to be carried by pagans. Because I can't think of any other pagan symbology off the top of my head. So what I want to do is we are at I'm trying to think of the word I want to use here. We're at about 50 minutes into the stream. I want to take a quick break and run some ads so it'll throw off the algorithm and the ad thingies. We ourselves will take about a 5-minute break, and in that time, if you guys want to think about which squires you might want to acquire, I guess squires acquiring, Jesus, that would be pretty cool. And then when we come back from break, we will see who takes which squire and who's left behind for Sir Garrett and the Earl and Jesus Christ, Sir Elad. Wow, I definitely cannot multitask, folks.
All right.
Sound good? Everybody good with that? Take a
Yep.
quick little, about a 5-minute break, so we can run some ads and throw off the algorithm so they don't have ads running during the middle of my stream.
All right.
All right, we'll be back, my friends, in about 5 minutes. See you in a moment.